Alright, don't tell Skulls and No Cool, but we're out of V-Buck missions, so I'm just gonna record this video. So, I was asked today to make a video talking about the best loadout for Outlanders, and I've been avoiding this for a while because it's pretty cut and dry. Like, Outlanders are really simple, and I'm going to follow a bit of the same template as I did with my best soldier video and my best ninja loadout video. So, those two videos I'll link below if you're curious. I'll link my shotgun loadout video as well because it's right there. But the last time I covered these, I talked about the main purpose of them, meaning there are a lot of ways you could go with soldiers. There are a lot of loadouts. There is no best loadout. That's kind of why the video is half an hour long. But I focused mainly on damage per second and ARs because that's the main focus of soldiers, you know? Soldiers, you can go a shockwave or minigun or whatever, but you know you can do a lot of things. But that's kind of subsidiaries of the main overarching loadout that is, you know, meant to be for damage. And that's the same thing with ninjas. I mean, say what you will about ninjas, but I mean, mostly they are ability based and weapon based. So I mean, they're really just buffing their melees. That's mainly what ninjas are for. As with soldiers, there's a lot of abilities. So without droning on too long, that's basically what this Outlander video is going to be about. It's pretty simple. I mean, Outlanders are effectively for farming. There is one other thing, and I'll link this video below because it's kind of abridged, but still the same thing. And in the video description below, there will be my best pistol loadout guide, which is basically the other half to Outlanders. Outlanders have a weird amount of heroes that are really good for buffing pistol and now SMG damage. That's why I say it's abridged, because these guys, you know, it was my best pistol loadout guide, but oh, ta-da, SMGs are now affected, which means some of your crown jewel favorite weapons are now SMGs, like the Bobcat and the Silent Spectre that I just scrolled past. And there are a few weapons that are now SMGs. It's really important for you guys to pay attention. Like, this weapon is called the Lightning Pistol. It is and was a pistol, but it's now an SMG. So when they made this update, they weren't like 100% consistent, but a lot of pistols that were pistols are now SMGs. So if you want a really good loadout that kind of breaks the norm of just using soldiers, you might want to check out my pistol loadout in the description below. Spoiler alert, it is kind of this, but these videos talk about way more than the best loadout, and I address a lot of the best heroes that come together to make certain good loadouts. It's kind of tough to explain. Like in this Outlander video, to get into the meat and potatoes here, I could just tell you to go use this, but this isn't the best loadout. There is no best loadout. There are certain combinations that have proven to be maybe your best options, but there are a lot of ways you could go. Like what we're looking at here is a DPS-based Outlander, meaning this is a loadout with Archaeologist and Saurian Focus, which are basically the two requirements, obviously Blast from the Past, to get really good farming. Like, I'll show a clip of this right here. I prefer Archaeologist just because it's my preferred hero. The Saurian Focus guy looks like a clown. Even though on average he tends to get about 6 punches before running out, Archaeologist is closer to 5, I've been told. But in the real world, when you're just running around farming and there's not always something to punch, you know, you have to run around between cars and stop to fight and defend yourself and whatnot, it doesn't really matter, that one punch difference. So I like to keep Archaeologist because she's kind of like the classic, you know, best hero with the new update. But Saurian Focus is also very good to have in your lead because that 12 energy per second, even though, you know, if you want Archaeologist in your support, your punches will be cheaper, but you'll get a bit more bang for your buck if you put him in the lead. It's kind of just preference. It's totally preference. But that's it. I've got Focus, Blast from the Past, and Archaeologist. That's all there is for farming here. Otherwise, I've got Going Coconuts to keep me alive and give me that damage buff. Saurian Might for damage, crit rating, crit damage, normal damage. I mean, this whole loadout is based so that I can farm in game and get my loot, you know, get, you know, metal and brick, whatever I'm low on, but I can also help my teammates when it comes to actually fighting. So when it comes to making the best farming loadout, because as I mentioned in the big intro, that's basically what we're going to be covering here, there are a few things to note. So Archaeologist, as I said, your bonus is going to help here, that will reduce your punch by a lot. That's by right-clicking your pickaxe. I get this comment here and there. People are like, oh no, where did all my stuff go? It's Seismic Smash now. You just right-click your pickaxe and you'll be able to punch whatever you want. And then Saurian Focus is, you know, Fossil Southie and Archaeologist are a match made in heaven. I mean, as long as you have Blast from the Past active, he will be regenerating 4 energy in support, 12 in the lead. Very good thing to have, because that punch with Archaeologist, oh, I'm going off of old numbers. I'm not even going to try here. I think it's like I'm not even going to check here. I think it's like 19 or 20 per punch. Regardless, he will constantly be giving you 4 energy no matter what you're doing. So that's a really, really good combo to have. And then alongside Fossil Southie, this is kind of up to you guys. I mean, I'll leave you to your own devices here, but to activate the rest of that Blast from the Past, I tend to recommend Iza because Outlanders are fairly frail. You're going to be taking a lot of damage, so to just give you some extra armor is nice. But as you saw earlier, I personally chose to take some extra damage. You can do whatever you want. And those are the 2 big ones to pay attention to. I'll link below my best Outlanders video that covers all of the Outlanders if you really want that. This video is more focused on who you should put together to make the best loadout. So I say that because I might just gloss over a lot of heroes here that I give more information on in that video. And there are a lot like Eagle Eye and then Phase Scout Jess and Flash AC. All 3 of these people buff your phase shift. So you could do basically something different from what I did, and instead of, you know, crit damage, assault damage, you could just put on phase shift and then you'd be dashing all around the map. And that's a really good thing to do. I mean, you might take a little bit of damage, but this game has provided a lot of options. Sanguine Dusk is a thing, and she just gives you health when you phase through enemies. There are a lot of good ways you can go. I wouldn't personally recommend her. If you have coconuts, you're going to be set. That'll give you a lot of extra damage. So that 16% damage also affects your pickaxe. So if you're smashing cars, that's really, really nice to have. And that would actually be an excellent segue to talk about Pathfinder Jess, who is arguably the other better option. So I personally like punching. Archaeologist and Southie are a great combo for that, but Pathfinder Jazz buffs your pickaxe so much that it makes most of the items in game, I think, like a 2 to 4 hit to break. And of course, if you eat a coconut while you're smacking, that may take a swing off your pickaxe. I'm not 100% certain, and it totally depends on the total of the item that you're attacking. But if you put on Pathfinder Jess in your lead, and then, you know, coconuts to buff your damage with your pickaxe, that's pretty much all you need. Pathfinder Jess plus whatever you want. Hell, you could put Archaeologist and Southie both in your support and use her punch alongside her pickaxe, and I think that may be a fairly productive combo. So that's definitely another option. Personally, I prefer punching, but, you know, I'm here to just give you guys all the information that I can. And with her, you don't really need too much support. Now, there's a team perk that I don't actually have called 1-2 Punch. If you don't know how to get it, it's from this guy that I've neglected to purchase because he's extremely expensive for me. I'm not paying for this, even though I'm just 1 manual off. Swordmaster Ken is not worth it to me, but it may be to you, and if you already have him, he'll give you the team perk for 1-2 Punch, and that will make your next heavy attack after using an ability cost 20% less energy. That used to be 100%, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, for every 2 here, yeah. Okay. So if you have a whole loadout of heroes, then it'll be a 100% reduction. And what that means is if you're using a loadout like these Flash AC that I mentioned earlier, or any of the other Phase Scout guys, you might be able to just dash and then get a punch every single time. And that's technically the best in terms of punches per minute or whatever you want to call it, where you can just dash, punch, dash, punch, dash, punch. But that is really, really jarring. It's not something I personally enjoy doing, so I wouldn't recommend it to anybody else. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't tell you guys that that thing existed. So a lot of people prefer that. I don't. It's a thing, I don't know, but, you know, there are a lot of opinions about this, because the best farming loadout, there are 3 contenders. I mean, it's the dashing, it's the pickaxe, it's the punching. I mean, it's really whatever you prefer. And as I showed earlier, in the real world, you know, when you're not solely focused on farming, sometimes some other hero perks are really, really nice to have in the support. And that's pretty much it, you guys. This is kind of why I didn't want to make this video for so long, because it's pretty simple. It's pretty cut and dry. I mean, there might be a lot more to know. Trust me, there used to be like a longer conversation in the back of my head when we were still figuring out all these Outlanders, but I like to take the very realistic approach, like I said, where there are, you know, a ton of different options. My farming loadouts used to be totally geared towards maximizing my farming potential, but I mean, nowadays, so long as you have that anti-material charge, you can do whatever you want. Like, it really isn't that big of a deal. And especially when you get late game, I mean, if you have friends who also play the game a lot, you're not really going to find yourself farming that much. In my personal opinion, make a habit of punching cars throughout every mission. Make a habit of searching bushes, searching containers, especially for coconuts, because that's kind of a byproduct of hunting for coconuts. You're accidentally looting. You're actually probably not going to need Outlanders nearly as much. Hey there, how are you doing? Editing beat. Oh, wow, 9300. Sweet. Okay, so I wanted to cut in here to talk about my video on how to get every item in the game. probably super relevant right here. I'm going to drop this in the description below. I have timestamps in the description about every single item so you can cut to whatever you need to grab. This will help a lot, especially if you're in the early game or if you're trying to acquire a lot of Sunbeam or whatever. Something to know. And another big recommendation, pro tip, is to save some of these materials in your storage. So I like to keep a bit of stone and metal and wood just for me to grab between missions. And whenever friends gift me Bright Core or Sunbeam, whatever, I just keep it. I mean, if I don't need all that on me at any given time. So if you just keep this stuff on the side, you'll find that it builds up over a long period of time. And even better yet, if you want to really condense it, you can craft traps, because nowadays you get a 100% return. So if I recycle this stack of gas traps, in fact, here, let me just demonstrate that while I'm talking, I will get 100% of the resources back. I will get all 1,400 herbs, all the bolts, all the powder. So if you really want to crunch down all of the materials that you have from farming, just put it into items like this. All those stacks of broadsides that I have, these were gifted to me. Thanks, Aphid. I can just break these down into whatever they cost, like the 18 planks or whatever, 9 planks each or something like that. So it'd be 1,800. That's why I got confused. I'll just get like a ton of planks, parts, and powder because broadsides are extremely expensive. So that's another way to really cut down on your overall use of storage. And if you sort of save this over a long time, you'll find yourself brushing off the dust in order to actually use your farming loadout, because you might not use as much as you think. So hopefully this was helpful to you guys. Hopefully this answered some questions. Hopefully this kind of relieved a bit of the tension for this, because you'll be, happy to find that it's really not that hard to get a farming loadout. Just Archaeologist is a fantastic one to use a voucher on. Southie, I would hope that everybody has. I mean, all of the dino heroes are super good. I'll link my video below on my voucher spending guide, so if you guys want to know all the best heroes, I definitely open with a lot of the ones I just mentioned, but that'll give you a better list. Linked in the description below. There are timestamps for every single hero. Feel free to check it out in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you really want to support the channel, I'm putting this right at the end. You can plug in my creator code Mista. It would really make my day. I appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day.